Hello guys, how's it going? Hope all is well. This is Semi and I'm back to give a short presentation on the Elite Dungeon bug and how I think Jagex should ban abusers. So the TLDR of the bug is that basically abusing the bug allows players to do any boss inside any of the elite dungeons indefinitely, skipping any preliminary bosses or mobs. Alright, so how much gold per hour is abusing this bug at the elite dungeons? So assuming that you are doing approximately like 12 kills per hour and not including common drops, like some common drops are actually quite good, like onyx and onyx dust, but excluding that, ED3 is approximately 210 mil per hour, and if you do it at more elite kill speeds, you could even achieve over 300 mil per hour. So it's actually quite insane how much money you can make off of this just by abusing this bug. I think there's very little things you can do in this game to achieve such high GP per hour. In fact, I don't think there is, other than maybe Telos at high-end rage. As you can tell, also the Dragonkin Laboratory and Temple of Amnesia is also very high GP per hour as compared to many other money-making methods like 36 mil per hour and 80 mil per hour. And again, this is not including common drops, which would increase this number even more. So how do I think Jagex should fix this problem in a as much of a fair manner as possible? So for the first step, I think it would be the most important to identify the players that are abusing this bug. So this may be using kill count differentials between like Ambassador and Terraket, Ambassador and Leviathan, kills per hour on elite dungeons per bosses. Maybe they also have their own methods as well to identify who is abusing this bug. And then the second step, I think, is important to design a fair method and metric of punishing players for abusing this bug. So possible options would be a ban for a period amount of time, maybe for more serious cases, permanent bans, perhaps removal of permissions in the game, such as access to the Grand Exchange, or maybe removal of the unfair advantage gained from abusing this bug. So maybe account rollbacks. The third step would be to implement this in-game and make sure that future players also do not find abusing bugs in the future as opportunities for them to gain an unfair advantage. Alright, so how do I think bans should be placed on players for abusing this bug? First of all, I think identifying the extent of the bug abuse is very important. So for example, you could find the number of abused boss kills by taking the final boss kill, subtracting the minimum number between the first and second bosses. So for example, like Ambassador minus whatever the minimum boss kills is for Leviathan and Terraket. Now keep in mind that there probably shouldn't be a penalty for players that have less than 10 abused boss kills, because I myself, I have like helped players get Ambassador kills on the final boss to unlock the ED3 portal, and I think I've helped like 100 to maybe 200 players, so it's definitely a considerable amount of players that may not have kills on the Leviathan and Terraket, but they have a kill on Ambassador. But at the same time, it's only like one boss kill, so it is important to keep that in mind. And continuing on, so calculating a ban metric based on the number of hours abused. this would just be equal to the 25 minutes that is basically skipped within inside of the dungeon, right? By just going towards the final boss. You take that number, multiply it by the number of abused boss kills, and from there you would be able to find the number of hours basically of content inside of the lead dungeon that players were able to skip. And from there you would find the amount of days you would ban the player by dividing that by 8. And this is because I think that for every 8 hours you skip on mobs and bosses, it should be approximately equal to 1 day of a ban. Because it's unrealistic to have bans decay at 24 hours per day, because nobody usually plays that long per day. So in general, I think another assumption to make is that every boss kill abused is approximately equal to 20 to 25 minutes of unfair advantage gained by a player. So in terms of how this would look in practice, 50 kills bug abused would result in 2.6 days banned. 200 kills bug abused would result in 10.4 days banned, and 1,000 kills would result in 52.1 days banned. And any more at this point, I think Jagex should be considering a permanent ban, as clearly the player is not really concerned about gaining an unfair advantage by abusing these bugs. So another option is also for Jagex to roll back accounts. This is a bit more complicated because you would have to determine the number of Eldritch pieces gained from the bug abuse. You have to remove the same amount of gold from the account, and the player might not have the gold directly, so it may have to result in removal of items, and maybe also you would also need to remove items from the drop logs as well as kill counts. So yeah, this can be a bit complicated, but it's also the most fair way to do it, a case-by-case basis of rolling back accounts. But moving forward, I think it's important to note that bugs are pretty much inevitable. Without extensive validation and verification practices in software development, it's pretty difficult to attain a product quality that is flawless. So it's especially inside a game that is pretty complex like RuneScape. So it's important to incentivize, I think, identifying bugs within the player community. Maybe having a reward system for players that identify bugs in the game, and you could have increasing bonuses for the player with scaling with the severity of the bug. And it's also important to de-incentivize the abuse of bugs, because in the end, players should not be looking to figure out ways to attain methods such as the ED bug to abuse. And so in summary, I think gaming is about having fun, about competition, and enjoying one's time in a game that respects human values such as integrity. So to protect these values, it is important that if you do know how to abuse the ED bug, or if you know any other bug in general, it's important to not share with others and report these problems so that Jagex can fix these. Alright, so thanks for tuning in, and I hope I can catch you at my stream at twitch.tv/semiconductor. And have a good day.